We're going to call this July meeting for the Allendale County Council to order. I'll ask Mr. Robinson to do the invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let us pray. Oh, Heavenly Father, we beseech Thee as we gather this evening, asking that You ease our hearts, and also, Heavenly Father, that You allow us, using wisdom and knowledge, that all our dealings will be pleasing in Thy sight. And these and all blessings we ask in Thy holy and most merciful name we pray. Amen.
Got a quorum, right? Yes, we do. Only person missing is Mr. Conley, Councilperson Conley. Next, declaration of quorum. That is what that is. Approval of agenda. I do have one change I need to make. Miss Angel Krim had emailed me earlier in the week, said she was not going to be here. Let's just remove her from the agenda. That'd be section 10, number B. Need a motion to do that?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All approve? All in favor? Nays? All right, that's approved. All right. Approval of the June 17th meetings,
Mr.
minutes.
Chairman, make a motion that we approve a meeting of June 17, 2021.
All in favor?
Question.
Sure.
In June 17th minutes, we had the approval of the emergency June 10th meeting, and I'd like to know why it's included in there. And the minutes for June 17th.
Ms. Teresa, I can't hear you. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Okay, the minutes for June 17th, our special regular meeting,
Okay.
we had Thursday, June 17th, 2021, at 6 p.m. We have approval of the June 10th emergency management meeting minutes. Okay, so I'm asking the question, why is it indicated in the, for approval in the 17th regular meeting?
Because it's June 10th.
Because it was the June 10th meeting.
17th was after the 10th.
I understand that, but we did not get the, it's not on the agenda. And the question is, that meeting, any meeting we have supposed to be advertised 24 hours before a meeting takes place. And it doesn't state in this that you notated that that meeting was taking place at 3 p.m. That's why I did not attend. But that was a special call meeting. Any special call meeting, any meeting is supposed to be advertised 24 hours before we have a meeting. I just want that notated.
That was an emergency meeting.
Even emergency meetings, is that not correct, Reverend? I mean, not Reverend, excuse me. Attorney Sanders, how does the meeting work? Anytime you have a meeting, you're supposed to have a 24-hour public notice.
Not an emergency meeting, ma'am.
Mr. Attorney Sanders, please answer that.
Not with an emergency meeting.
Okay.
An emergency meeting can be called, it's usually called because it's an emergency and you don't have time to give the notice that's generally required for general meeting.
Okay, my reason for questioning that is because all members was not present, that was including me. It didn't give me the opportunity to be there because I didn't have enough notification in order to attend the meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I
Go ahead.
just wanted to say that there's a notation here in our June 17th meeting, which actually signified that Councilperson Taylor asked to be noted that she was unable to attend. So it's included in our June 17th meeting. So the record shows that she was unable to attend.
Mr. Robinson, thank you for that, your concerns, but I would love to attend all meetings. My thing is, the meeting was called the day of. I have a job, which it took place at 3:00 p.m. Normally, we try to make sure all council members are present to conduct business of the betterment of Allendale County. I just wanted that to be clarified, that's all.
And I think we clarified the fact that emergency meeting doesn't necessarily need a 24-hour notice.
And also, Mr. Robinson, you clarified that I did not come because it was at 3 p.m. I'm saying to you, I don't get off work at 5:30. It would be nice to know for this council to allow me to attend a meeting, so don't have it until I get off work. Just because you retired, others are not working, does not mean I want to represent my citizens of Allendale County.
Anything else?
Call for the question.
Sir? All right. Is a motion, you make a motion in a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay, said same right?
Nay.
Ms. Teresa made a nay. All right, approval of June 29th minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nay, said same right?
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
nobody showed up for the closed meeting.
Okay, no one showed, okay, that's fine. Next is gonna be public comments. I have one that was given to me earlier. Is anyone else, was there any more public comments? Bill, you mind checking?
Yes, sir.
You got one? Okay. Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
if I ask, Those of you who are going to speak, take your mask off, because we can't hear in this building anyway, so.
And the problem we're having is also this, Donnie, what's the best way to get this, where they go over the PA? Do I need to take one of these mics up there? or-
No, as long as they don't say anything on the mic.
Okay, is the mic up there? Okay,
Yeah, mic.
okay, gotcha, okay.
But you still need to take your mask off because you don't pronounce your words
All right.
clearly.
All right, Miss Kathy Theron, you're first on the list. First one I grabbed, so let's go with it. How are you doing this evening?
Fine, thank you, sir.
Good.
Thank you,
Good.
Mr. Chairman. My concern stems with the sheriff's office and the clerk of court's office, and I'm going to be very specific and very direct, and I'm just going to put you all on the hot spot, and I'm going to ask you specifically, Mr. Chairman, what does the council know about what's going on in the sheriff's office and in the clerk of court's office? Because I'm quite concerned.
Can't answer that question. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what's going on. I can't speak for the rest of the council as far as myself. I'm assuming you're going on the report that there's going to be a SLED investigation?
Yeah,
That's why you're
yes,
referring to
that. I'm quite concerned about it because I have a lot of friends who work in the courthouse.
I don't know anything about it. SLED has not contacted me about anything. Mr. Goodson? I
Haven't been
mean, you? Anyone else on council?
I'd like to.
Address some of our, Ms. Theron.
Yes, sir.
For about a year, we've been having a very difficult time getting financial information out of certain offices in the county. Everybody was hollering for a forensic audit, which is expensive and which is extremely thorough. And when you get into a contract with a forensic audit firm, they come in and they go through every department, uncover everything, and then they come to the council as they did. They don't have to report any problem going on. They just make people aware that there possibly could be a problem. And they also had the authority to turn over, if they thought there was enough reason, they had the authority to turn over information to SLED, and SLED, it was left up to them to, I guess you would say, enforce the law. Whether or not, we don't know whether there was a law broken or not. The auditors did not say that, but they exercised their authority to call in SLED on a number of matters. Most likely, nothing will ever come of it, but that's the way they operate, and they don't inform us, or they don't have to inform us until the final investigation is over with.
So,
No, we hadn't talked to SLED about anything.
They wouldn't tell you if you talked to them.
That's true.
The auditors wouldn't tell us anything specific.
okay.
Thank you, Ms.
Well,
Kathy. That it, Ms. Kathy?
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
then y'all know as much as we know. Then.
Yes, you're exactly right. Unfortunately, in the situation, SLED's not going to tell you anything.
It's in their hands. We don't.
Okay. Next, Ms. Tony Major.
Yeah, go boys.
Two questions, here we go.
Two
We
questions.
knew you were coming up.
Two questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Chairman Gooding, council members and citizens, thank you for allowing me to speak with you this evening. At last month's meeting, I raised the issue of supplemental income, the state statutes that apply, and the need for a public hearing when the company receives supplemental income. Since I did not receive an answer to what constitutes supplemental income last month, I thought that perhaps council needed time to research the issue. Consequently, I believe that this question needs to be answered tonight. I gave examples such as CARES Act money, COVID, hurricane relief, the expectation of $1 million+ that we're hoping we get. And I honestly, you know, I attend a lot of meetings. I don't ever remember a public hearing to find out where monies were going, other than a budget meeting. The second question I have, is council aware of the state laws that were passed, H 34, excuse me, H 3482, A 69, R 85, and those were passed and signed by the governor on May 17th of 2021. This bill allows citizens of South Carolina to pay their taxes on an incremental basis, that being the first payment February 15, second April 15, third June 15, fourth August 15, 5th October 15, total due January 15th of the following year. As we're all aware, the county is in the process of linking up QS1 with all the departments. Hopefully the treasurer's computer will be updated to accept these partial payments. It hasn't been in the past. When I brought this subject up to Ms. Cheney years ago, she said that the computer was unable to process those partial payments. According to the law, the next installment will be August 15th. Hopefully the computer can be programmed to accept payments by that date. Further, it will be necessary to formally advise all taxpayers of their rights under the law to make partial payments. I believe that should be done via a direct mailing, including all of the dates to each taxpayer. That way, every taxpayer will have the information that they need to be current. I think that this process will be very beneficial not only to the taxpayers, but also to the county. It's a very good law and will definitely help people who have difficulty paying their taxes in one installment.
Sure. I was happy to
Yeah,
see that.
I asked Ms. Cheney about that a good
Yeah.
5 years ago or so.
And I think the Association of Counties have notified each council person, and I'm almost certain that each treasurer in the state has been notified. It's just a matter of getting our system to the point where we can actually accommodate those installments. And I'm sure QS1 can do that.
Do we have a time frame in mind? Is it going to make the August 15th one?
Ms. Tawny, we just got work to take credit cards. We're working on it. For the last 3 years, I didn't realize we couldn't take credit cards in our treasurer's office.
We were supposed to be.
Well, thanks to Mr. Hutto, like that we can now. Can't keep looking in the rearview mirror. If we do, we're gonna run something square.
No,
in the
that's
rear
why
end.
I'm
So
looking forward
We're doing it's a
to-
process, and believe me,
Exactly.
we're working extremely hard.
Okay, so we may not have it by August, but you're figuring maybe October?
I'll have you an answer next meeting. We'll figure it out.
Okay, and what about the supplemental income? I really would like an answer on what the county is going to consider supplemental income going forward.
Okay. Bill, go ahead.
When we get that information, start having that, we'll have a public meeting so the public can be informed on what council is deciding to do.
Put a note to add that to the agenda for the next meeting. Let's make sure we get it straight.
Okay.
And that's what monies?
Well, I think,
Anything that's not, to me, anything that's not in the budget, and there's a lot not in the budget, would be considered supplemental. Is that correct, Walter? I mean, that would be...
Already sounds, why don't we just figure out what, by supplemental, you're talking about any income that comes into this county that's not in the budget.
That's pretty much what the statute says.
We don't even know what income we have coming into the county at this point.
I understand that,
And that's
but
what we're working on now.
it's...
but I think relating to your question, we have the COVID money
Mm-hmm.
and we have the SRS money. Those are the two parts of money that I'm aware of now. Just a matter, and I said the COVID money, but the American Rescue Plan money. So, and I don't think there's enough details. We have some idea that we may get $1.7 million, but all the details and time frame for releasing that money, we just don't know yet.
Well, my question basically is, should the COVID money, the rescue plan money, the CARES Act money, should that have been included in supplemental?
It should.
So we need to start having public hearings then when we get money that's not in the budget, correct?
Well, a lot of that money comes with stipulation, though.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Nate Hartley. How you doing, Mr. Nate?
Good evening, everyone. My question is not so much a comment as it is a question. And does Allendale County currently have a wish list for the SRS settlement funds? And if so, how much are we asking for? And the reason I put that out there is because if you look at Aiken proper, New Ellington, and all of the incorporated counties, towns that make up Aiken County are asking for $95 million. And I'm wondering if Allendale is far more in need of that money than Aiken is. I'm wondering how much money is Allendale asking for?
We have left that up to the Southern Carolina Alliance to handle it. If you want my opinion, you may not see any of it because the big counties have a whole lot more representation than we do, and the governor, even though he was initiator of this with SRS, well, there are people working on it, let's put it that way, and if it's going to be a substantial amount of money to Allendale.
I know on
Mr. Arley, I'll stop right there. When we went into this, I've been to several meetings with Southern Carolina Alliance, along with Aiken County, everybody else. They've come up with different formulas on who's going to get what, based on the number of employees that each county has that work at SRS. The problem we have is we've had very few employees in Allendale County work at SRS. The last figure I heard, we could maybe, on lucky second, $15 to $20 million. Because this thing stretches out to Hampton County, Beaufort County. Georgia is also now fixing to file a lawsuit against us and things like that.
I guess I'm missing something because Allendale, Barnwell, and Aiken are the three counties that SRS sits on.
Exactly.
And Allendale is more subject to, if something was to happen where we was to have some of that water to spill, it's coming right down through Martin. And when you say all of these other counties have their hands out, I can understand them having their hands out, but I think we should be standing up and saying, no, we are the ones that need the money. And what's wrong with us asking for $100 million?
We
asked for all of it. We asked for every dime of it, but I'm just telling you what the formula was, so we're hoping we can get any of it. At this point right now, I'm really concerned that we'll get any of it.
Hey, when they based the formula on people working at the plant, federal government's got this thing worked out.
Okay.
You're a Democratic county, and you are a Democratic county, so you might as well put that into the equation.
But I'll be glad to notify you for the next meeting we have. You'll be more than welcome to attend.
There's some people working on it. There's a team of people working on it, demanding money. Now, how much we get, we got. It's an uphill struggle. Senator Hutto spearheaded this whole initiative to have the money divided amongst Allendale, Barnwell, and Bamberg County, and now Hampton's in it, Columbia County and Georgia. Aiken, of course, is right in the middle of it. We teamed up with Aiken for a while, but it's just going to take time. I'm just keep the fingers crossed. We have been asking pretty strongly.
Okay. All right, next public hearing on Project Skip. That's taken care of. Miss Elaine Sabb.
He's got,
Excuse me.
you still got to have.
Sorry, Elaine, I may have called you too soon. Let me see what we got going.
Huh?
We did it. We
You did already?
And nobody showed up.
But did you open, you have to put it on record.
That's right.
Yeah, we had it and no one showed up.
Yeah, but did
Okay.
what you need to do is open it and see if there's any comments.
Okay.
People here may have comments.
Okay.
And nobody has a comment, then you can close it.
We've got Project Skip going on with the project of Southern Carolina Alliance. I was informed earlier, basically under misadvertising, that the public hearing for this was supposed to be held at the Ramp Building. So Kel, you went to the Ramp Building. Anyone show up for the public hearing?
No, we stayed until 5 after 6.
Okay.
And nobody came. Our mission was to shepherd them over here if anybody came to the property, but there was none. So.
All right, Project Skip is a project going on for everyone. If you have a comment or question about what's going on with the multi-text plan out here, Mr. Skip Queen, who owns Queen Horse Bedding in Appleton, has bought this multi-dex building. And Southern Carolina's helping him, and he's fixing to employ a bunch of people out here. And basically what we're doing is doing the final reading on that. Is what the meeting was all about. And it was just misadvertised in the newspaper, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kel. I'm just going by what I've...
Yeah, what happened, I think, is maybe the previous public hearing that they did was over at the Grant Building, and I think they just copied and pasted and changed the dates. And so instead of recognizing this as the location, they just used the Grant Building.
Okay.
So we had to just make sure we were over there just in case somebody did come to the Grant Building. But nobody came.
Does anyone have any questions about Project Skip at this point? I mean, be happy to have them, sir, in here if anyone has any. This is our third and final reading. I just want to make sure. Okay. All right. Sorry, Ms. Elaine. Come on up now. I apologize.
It's with mixed emotions that I stand before you tonight to address an issue that was brought to the citizens of Allendale County. I have worked alongside many of you for years and exemplified the epitome of a philanthropist to our citizens of Allendale County. I am baffled and appalled by the alleged attacks on my character has tainted a narrative and simple of fraudulent claims. However, since my position as Allendale County Clerk of Court and my personnel accounts is a polarizing topic of debate with County Council and the County Administrator, allow me to insight you on my job and duties. My authority goes beyond supervising and ensuring the job duties of my staff. I have the authority to reward my employees and myself with bonuses or raises in which Council is fully aware of. The report addresses the issue that a 1099 form was not provided. The report did not say that the Clerk of Court did not provide one. I have spoken with several CPAs and attorneys and they stipulate that a 1099 form has to be provided by the County Finance Department, which has always been done in the past. With informative instructions from these legal parties, it is within my advisory and hopes that the responsible parties are sought after to obtain and provide County Council with the necessary documents for your review. I will provide a letter from a CPA office. Please feel free to contact me for further insight on this matter. I will also provide a section of my contract that clearly gives me permission to give myself and employees any fringe benefits as I deem necessary. The forensic audit included my personal taxes and classified me as a county employee. For clarifications, I am not a county employee. I'm an elected official. For that reason, I am unsure why I was singled out, and there are clearly other elected officials as well as county employees with unpaid taxes. I will provide you a copy of a few names. The audit also addresses the issue about 9 accounts. Have given a chance, I would have loved to educate you on that issue. To run an efficient and a productive office, it is feasible and recommended by court administration that all my accounts are separate by specified job title. Lastly, the council chooses not to address the issue of other county employees that has embezzled county funds. One embezzled over $100,000. 2 others embezzled through payroll. Council was fully aware of the embezzlement and did not need an audit to prove that. But yet, council and the administrator allowed the media to paint a picture that Elaine Sabb, Allendale County Clerk of Court, was stealing or doing something that she was not entitled to do. So I asked the question, what's the difference in being knowledgeable of embezzling funds and simply making allegations? I hold council and the administrator fully responsible for this matter because you conveniently did not provide the necessary information that stipulate the authority as the clerk of court. After further review and the misrepresentation of my name, it is highly recommended and advised that council clear all allegations brought against me, and it is rightfully your duty to do so. In closing, I'm not here to address any questions, but I'm here to affirmly factual statements. If there are any questions or concern, please follow protocol and call my office for an appointment. And I have some inserts for you guys.
Thank you.
Catherine, did that clear the question? Yes, ma'am.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
my name was in there. Can I get a copy?
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
said
that's the
administrator. Thank you.
Okay. All right, next, we're going to council member reports. I guess I'm first on the hit list here, and I got a list of them. Mr. Goodson, a lot of these coming directly at you. Got any update on our budget?
As QS1 works through the QS1 system, they have printed me the income reports for taxes that were mailed to county citizens, taxes were collected in the tax office, and a total of delinquent tax collected for the tax year. I'm now able to take those numbers and put the expenses together, and once I get that together, I will call a budget meeting of county council so we can start putting the budget together. So.
Okay. Speaking of accounting, QS1 has been here. We're here today, correct?
They're here today, yes, sir, and they'll be back Monday and Tuesday.
Where do we stand on putting all our data in where we can hopefully get on this budget? And
That's what they're doing right now. So that's back to the budget question. I hope to have before the next council meeting, we have that first budget workshop done.
bank
So
accounts. I gave you a letter to go to Palmetto State Bank.
Correct.
The treasurer, finance director, and county administrator are supposed to be, according to our friends at auditor, legally, the treasurer, finance director, and county administrator are supposed to be on all of our checks.
Correct.
No county council people will be on checks anymore.
Correct.
Okay.
You signed that letter and I delivered it to the vice president of the bank.
All right, where do we stand on the DMV audit?
I received an email today. They were down last Friday starting that audit, I believe it was last Friday. And they had an email from her today. They come out of Blackwood. They are still in the process of going through all. They said it's going to take a while to get that audited. So,
Are we responsible for 71,000 stickers?
no, sir. And just, I don't want to throw another number out there. It is a high number, but the number that was given, DMV called up the wrong county. We're in the thousands.
Okay.
But I don't know the exact number on that. But they're,
Okay.
again, they're still investigating. So.
Okay. Another note, state funds, we get the new sheriff's office. If you know the old mental health building right over here, I'm not sure what the exact address is. We're getting a new sheriff's office. We worked with Brad Hunter very hard to get this. Our sheriff's office is in terrible condition. And matter of fact, literally, the phones were out this week because the rats eating a wire. So we got a new sheriff's office coming, hopefully September, October, from what I'm hearing. Correct me if I'm wrong. September, October, according to Brad and our delegation. We should be having a new sheriff's office with the old mental health building over here. Let's hope we get that done. All right, where do we stand on the new audit firm?
The deadline for RFPs, which is a request for proposals, was 3 o'clock this afternoon. We received none. I spoke to 2 firms yesterday who were in tune with what's been going on with Allendale County, and I'm going to be reaching out myself to some firms as we this fiscal year, July 1st, we're going to have everything in the system in a complete accounting system. These past 2 years are in like they were in the years before, and so getting those 2 years done. Long story short, Chairman, I'm going to be reaching out to someone and the state to see if we can move forward with selecting one to get us over these 2 years, so that this fiscal year we're in now, we can move forward as a normal functioning, have everything together for a regular audit,
Okay.
if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
I know you're in the hot seat. I'll give you one more.
Okay, go ahead.
While you're burning, I might as well give you one more.
Go right ahead.
Where do we stand as far as getting our funds from the state? Comptroller General.
Okay.
You and I talked earlier, we got to talk to you since probably Monday, so where we stand on that?
Right. I spoke to the Comptroller General's office. He sent me over a list, detailed list of the funds that are being held up. He asked me to identify the urgent need of those funds, which I did, and I wrote back a letter detailing basically why we needed them, and sent that over to him. Senator Brad Hutto asked me to forward a copy to him as well, which I did, and I spoke to both of them, and they should be getting back with me. They're working on it right now. I hope, I don't want to give a day, but I hope by next week we should have funds released for that.
That's great. All right, that's the last thing I got to grill you about. Matthew's not here. Councilman Goody?
I have nothing.
Mr. Robinson?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of things. Ann Rice and I, we serve on SRS CRO organization, and I'm sure a lot of people may not be aware of the CRO. But we advocate for new projects at SRS, and as already been indicated, number of employees, our mission is to make certain that Allendale County is represented in employment at the site. And very recently, we just heard that DOE/NNSA approved what we call CD1, Critical Decision 1, which talks about the design work and the budget using the old MOX facility. As you know, MOX was shut down several years ago. So we're going to convert that hopefully into a plutonium processing facility. And you're looking at a timeline between 2030, 2035, which some of us will still be around, and hopefully we will have folks here that will be able to get a job at SRS. It's very critical, and Ann served as a treasurer for the CRO. And of course, the CRO has invested money in the county for economic development. So what we advocate for the county, also for the region, someone had mentioned Georgia, we work together as one unit. So you probably heard about the announcement that was made probably 2-3 weeks ago, and hopefully the plutonium processing facility will be a reality. Also, we talked about the SRS funds. I do know, and I was going to let Mr. Goodson know, that I got a call from Representative Hosey. They are looking at all the information that was sent. And I know the town of Allendale, I was sent, mistakenly sent what the town of Allendale has requested with the SRS fund. So Bill, you may want to reach out to Lonnie. I think they're going to meet about next week or within the next week or two to decide how they're going to allocate some of that money. And Chairman is right. We don't know exactly how much we're going to get. It may be X number of dollars, it may be greater, smaller than what we anticipated. But as you know, we are the small portion of SRS. We got about 10% of the land mass, almost 60%, and 30%. Of course, you quadruple that in terms of the number of employees. You know, we have, I think right now it's less than 100 that work here.
Way less than that.
Way less than that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, we trying, and I think with the apprentice program we have with the school, hopefully we'll see those numbers in the years go up. And lastly, on our EPA grant, we finally got the last billing on that. It was closed out about a month ago, and they sent requests for the last payment. And so hopefully we can take some of that information and use for new development for the town of Allendale. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Ms. Taylor?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I attended a meeting, event today at Three Rivers, that their dedication, their Three Rivers building in honor of David Summers. That building now is named David Summers Three Rivers Technology Building. I think it's Technology Three Rivers. I know it's David Summers. But I have some questions I'd like to ask the administrator or either council. Let us know what I would like to see us do. It's not really a question. It's a statement. When citizens come before us the month, like today, next month, we should have an answer. And I thought about, I hadn't heard anything about the statement Ms. Frazier mentioned about the government master, about the prisoners. By them being, there's a law, execution. And have you checked with anything on that? Is there anything we need to do to support? Because we do need to support that. I've seen stuff on the TV, but that's the one, the execution that they was talking about doing in the state of South Carolina.
Right.
That's not right, Mr. Chair, if I may? I want you to state it the way it was stated the last time, if you can remember. Ms. Frazier? I'm sorry, I know you're not Ms. Frazier, but I know you're Ms. Frazier, I'm sorry.
What was talking about, the firing squad?
Firing squad, right.
She needs to be in front of the mic.
I think that's already been passed though by the state. I don't know.
But one of the things she had asked for us to support it, even if we have to write, I don't know whether we need to write something to the governor, let them know that we don't support it or whatever the case may be. It's just that it doesn't look good for us as council members not to respond back to the question asked the month before and 30 days has passed, we have no answers. All I'm asking is that in the future, if we can, please allow us to have answers to the questions that's taking place this month. Like Ms. Major had 4 questions or 3 or 4 questions. Next month, let's be able to answer. Like Mr. Gooden had you to do something, signed you last month. We need to have some answers this month. And just say, we need to have answers, that's what I'm saying. So we have to keep repeating the same thing over and over and over. If we get answers, then we don't have to keep going over the same thing.
Duly noted. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Administrator, your report?
I think you and I kind of wrapped that up. Anything else, I got an executive session. I'm good.
All right. Mr. Walter? Attorney Sanders?
Yeah, I need to report to the council. There have been 2 South Carolina court decisions recently that are going to affect the counties. The first one is a Mercury Funding LLC versus the tax collectors for Beaufort, Anderson, Kershaw, Richland, and Lancaster County. And this case involves the extending of the redemption period for property sold at delinquent tax sales in 2019 for 12 additional months. The act that includes this provision is Act number 174 of the General Assembly. The South Carolina Constitution has a one subject rule which legislators can only pass legislation that addresses one subject. And Act 174 was passed relating to 2 subjects, automobile insurance and the extension. That extension was added on to another bill. And Act 174 was declared unconstitutional. What they did by extending that period was they weren't supposed to do. If it's unconstitutional, they're going to have to go back and correct the error. I talked with the tax collector today, and what the tax collectors are waiting on is the Department of Revenue to give them some guidance on how they're supposed to proceed with the last tax sale. We don't have a big problem in Allendale because she's told me that there are actually only 5 bidders who would be affected if we have to reverse everything. But what she is doing now is waiting on the Department of Revenue to give them some guidance on how they're supposed to proceed with the people who bought property and the initial redemption period expired and they weren't given deeds. So I'll keep y'all informed on that. All the counties are in the same situation. Now the next case that they passed was it was titled Burns versus Greenville County. And the South Carolina Supreme Court ruled that the Greenville County road maintenance fee was invalid. South Carolina law permits counties to levy uniform service fees, which we have 2 or 3, I believe. Do we have a road maintenance one? We do have a road maintenance. But the court ruled that South Carolina law requires that the fee benefit the payer in some way, in some unique manner different from the members of the general public. The Greenville Road maintenance fee did not meet the requirements and was therefore not authorized by the General Assembly, and it was therefore declared invalid. Which means what that comes down to is probably Allendale County we need to look at our fees to determine whether or not they're valid. They are valid until a court says they're not. Each county court would have to determine whether or not the fees that are in place are valid or not.
Okay. So we need to look into whether our fees are valid, is what you're saying?
Right.
Okay.
And probably our road maintenance fee is probably not, but some of the other fees may be, because they, you know, it all comes down to that, whether they affect the person in a unique manner who's paying it, different from what the public. With roads, you know, the people who pay the road maintenance fee, the general public benefits too. Well, I think we put that on our car taxes, don't we? On the cars.
Right.
But people who don't live in the county also benefit from that because they use the roads. You know, it's not unique to the people who own cars in Allendale County, and that was the basis of the ruling. But I suggest that the county look at it, because if you want to repeal that, you would want to do it before your new tax notices go out.
Right. Why don't you look into that, see, because where I read that, when someone called into the station, where I read it, where I understood it was, that money need to be put for using for road maintenance, correct? Can't be used for anything else.
Well, it's supposed to be doing that anyway.
Right.
But it's not valid if it affects the public. Everybody's affected by it, not just the people who are paying it.
Okay.
That's what the law, on
That's
all
something
fees, not
something we
just
definitely need to look into.
the road fees, yeah.
Walter, who determines whether it's legal or not?
Well, it would be a court.
In court?
As of right now, all our fees are legal because we haven't been, no one has brought suit against the county to invalidate our fees.
Until tonight.
Yeah, well, you mentioned tonight, so I'm sure it will be, but the court will be determining that, right?
Right, a court would determine it.
So we'll have to come up with the shortfall there if they tell us that you can't do it anymore of about $300,000.
Right,
We'll have to come up with another way to go about doing it.
exactly.
Would they be able to refund the citizens the funds they already paid for?
I hope not. We're legal now, right, as we do it now, we're legal, but the court got to make a decision on it.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sanders, is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Next on the agenda is old business, can be third and final reading of Project Skip, which is fee in lieu agreement.
Yes, and I didn't see the fee schedule on that, Carol, for some reason. Maybe
It's in your packet.
it's in the package, maybe I overlooked it. Is it in there?
Yeah, I think it was sent, Bill, but I
Yeah.
got it right here.
Okay.
Maybe
Maybe
it's right
I,
here, it's in your packet.
maybe I looked at it. Maybe I looked at it quickly.
You asked for it last week, Chairman.
I did.
I mean, Councilman Roberts.
Seems like that was emailed to us the day after the meeting, wasn't it?
Yep.
The first one?
I tried to anyway.
Well, and I opened that too, but I didn't see what I normally would consider to be a fee schedule, and I don't see it in here either.
That's what was.
And you know, the breakdown per year.
Yeah, can I can approach, I can give you this. This one should, I was hoping that this one would have been included. I thought it was.
I don't see that.
No.
No. Okay. And the reason being, because generally what we try to do is make certain the auditor and the treasurer get a copy of this.
Copy of it.
So they can have it once the fees kick in. And so, why don't you just send us a better copy of it? How's that?
Okay.
Okay.
Email it,
I'm
if you don't mind,
having
email that in
trouble
the
with-
morning, or I can scan and email everybody. Let's just make sure we get this put to bed.
Well, you vote on that,
All right.
I'll send another one.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
That's all I have. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nays have the same right? Passed. All right, that's final reading of Project Skip. All right, executive session is next on the list.
Do we have anything for executive session?
A couple of items, yes.
All right, I make the motion to go into executive session after a two-minute break.
One thing I want to do, Dr. Mulner, thank you for coming up. I want to say hello to you. Thank you for coming up, everything you do for our county, Dr. Mulner.
Thanks so much. Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir. All right, motion on the floor to go into executive session.
So moved.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
See him all the damn time.
All in favor? Go into executive session.
Aye.
All right, motion made. Session. Nothing discussed in executive session. We need to make a vote on, so need a motion to adjourn.
So,
Second?
All in favor?
aye.
Nays? All right.
Adios, amigos.